Sage Wanderer coming at you from my van down by the river. So, Mueller wants to play 20 questions with Trump, or 40 questions, as it were. He wants to know what he's thinking. He wants to hear what's on his mind. Can a special prosecutor compel the President of the United States to go on record and be interviewed under oath? Can he force him to testify against himself? Well, there's a little thing that all of us have called the Fifth Amendment that says you have the right to remain silent. All you have to say is, I'm choosing to remain silent. I don't believe a judge can compel you to answer a question in a case that's being prosecuted against you, much less compel you to speak directly to an investigator under oath or not. Oh, they can take you in, they can ask you questions, but you don't have to say a thing. You have the right to remain silent. But Trump's got something else in his corner as a potential victim of a false prosecution. He's got a little thing called executive privilege. So, as part of the Constitution, since we thought ahead, the Founding Fathers thought ahead. They looked into the future. They played chess. Have you ever played chess? There's been a lot of talk about 4D chess from people who probably ain't even played 3D chess, much less plain old 2D chess. But when you play chess, how you win is you imagine the reaction to the move that you make. And then you imagine your reaction to that, and their reaction to that, and their reaction to that, and there are hundreds and thousands of possible outcomes from one move. And you sit there and stare at the board until you've imagined all of them. This is what we mean by wargaming. So our founding fathers thought ahead. They looked into the future and saw that this could happen. And they gave the President of the United States the ability to just say no to any of these ridiculous probing questions that anyone might ask him, because they realized that he could be hindered and distracted and compelled to comply so much to the court system, to investigators, both state and national investigators, for various reasons, that they could be absolutely sidetracked from their job, that it could be hazardous to the health of the United States of America to compel the President of the United States to engage in any of these sort of interviews or demands for questions or demands that he testify under oath. They had just used every trick in the book to overcome the British Empire and get their own independence here to become the United States of America. So they saw how the courts could be used and how law could be used to in a lot of negative ways. So they tried to put everything in the Constitution to make it more fair and to prevent some of the more maniacal and evil things from happening, like this Mueller probe. Mueller cannot compel Donald Trump to testify or be interviewed under oath. Mueller does not have the authority. The Constitution protects Donald Trump under the Fifth Amendment and also under executive privilege. And then we have this other question of the person who set him forth to begin with, Rod Rosenstein. Rod Rosenstein, who is under the Constitution, his department is to report to the United States Congress, that Congress has oversight over the Department of Justice. It's the way the system is set up. He has to give forth any documentation that the congressional officers ask for, and if he doesn't, he's in contempt of Congress, and he can be impeached. Rod Rosenstein recently blew that off and said, the Department of Justice will not be, what's the word that he used? I hate it when I just lose a word like that. This video is going really well, and I just lost that word. It's extortion, that he will not be extorted, that the Department of Justice will not be a victim of extortion. He called this demand by Congress extortion. And that is not just insulting, it could very well be criminal, because He has to give those documents up. He is in contempt of court. He can be impeached from his position by the Congress for not complying. Why is he not complying? He's covering up for the FBI. The Department of Justice and the FBI, same thing. So the big question is, where is our Attorney General? Where are you, Sessions? Why are you silent? Rod Rosenstein is more wrapped up in this whole question of what's going on out there than you ever were as a member of the Trump campaign, Mr. Sessions. Why are you not doing your job? Are you complacent, or are you compliant, or are you in on it? Are you a member of the deep state? Have you been paid off? Are you owned by the FBI? Is Rod Rosenstein your boss instead of his boss? Have they flipped the script? Is it upside down bizarro world? Who is in charge? Who's in charge, Mr. Attorney General? This all needs to be put to an end. These people are borderline treasonous. You cannot subpoena a sitting president. And Mr. Rosenstein, comply to Congress or be impeached. God save our republic.